When we look at the Epsilon Xi chapter of Beta Alpha Psi at the University of Utah, we see a chapter always growing, building, and enhancing. We look towards our chapter's success as our students would look at the University of Utah's David Eccles School of Business, always under construction. Our chapter is never satisfied with our current position, and we are ever seeking to build on what we have and to make our chapter stronger and more meaningful for our students. Through the metaphor of a construction site, we hope to express our chapter's strengths, weaknesses, as well as our qualifications for Gold Chapter status.
According to the national theme for 2011, we would like to show how our chapter has demonstrated 3 of the BAP Bridge values and how these values will benefit our chapter and members' futures. The bridge values we have chosen are B, D, and G.
Building relationships with peers and professionals in the Epsilon Xi chapter is the brick and mortar of our organization. The bricks represent our valued contacts and friends, and the mortar represents the relationships and networking experiences that connect us. Our chapter seeks to provide our members with opportunities to effectively network with students and professionals so that they will build strong and lasting relationships. Just as bricks are the key to constructing a strong and effective building, so are the relationships we build between our peers and professionals in our Epsilon Xi chapter.
As a chapter, we always provide many opportunities for our students to mingle and network with professionals. Every year we organize a Meet the Professionals event where Beta Alpha Psi members can start forming relationships with professionals. We also encourage attendance at the accounting firm social events held during recruiting season. We invite many of the local accounting professionals to attend or participate in our initiation banquets, mock interviews for students, and our annual career day with the downtown accounting firms.
While all of these events mentioned above are held on a consistent basis, we have sought to add to the number of events and change the way we market them to our students in order to strengthen the mortar and increase the number of bricks for our students to build stronger networks.
The initiation banquet is a recurring event that we improved upon this year. We felt professionals, faculty, and the students would be more likely to attend if they were excited to hear the keynote speaker. We invited all members and candidates who are qualified to attend, but usually charge those who are not being inducted since it is not included in their dues. But because of this, we usually have a lower turnout of returning members. In the spring, we invited a highly esteemed local businesswoman. As a result, attendance among non-inductee students grew over 200% from the fall banquet.
Last year we had a difficult time finding firms to host spring socials, so our chapter created 4 spring socials, but only one of these included downtown professionals. This year our officers put more emphasis on the importance of involving professionals in our socials. By doing so, we held 7 spring socials, and 5 of these included our downtown professionals.
With a conscious effort on behalf of our officers, we were able to increase attendance and participation in social activities. As mentioned before, social events create the mortar that holds together the bricks that build our students' relationships between their peers and professionals.
Developing leadership skills in our chapter opens doors to our chapter's future success. We want to leave all of these doors open for our members to develop into great leaders. Just like a new building, we create many doors of opportunity, each leading down different pathways to different successful ends. In an effort to increase leadership opportunities within Beta Alpha Psi, we have implemented 3 new committee chairs this year: Adopt a Highway, Vita Marketing, and Recycling committees, which increased our total from 5 to 8 chairs. The purpose of this action was to give our committed members the chance to be a leader and be more involved, and at the same time create more BAP organized service opportunities.
Our chapter adopted a stretch of highway to clean up on a regular basis through the state of Utah's Adopt a Highway program. The officers adopted the highway and then were in charge of scheduling cleanups. We decided to delegate the responsibility of overseeing this entire project to a member of our chapter.
Our chapter annually hosts a Vita site on campus for our candidates, members, and other students to participate in. Typically, our Vita officer has been in charge of everything related to Vita, including marketing the program to students and others in the community. In order to delegate some responsibility and give others leadership opportunities, we created a Vita marketing committee and a committee chair to oversee its members. The marketing committee spent 57 hours advertising this free service, which in turn saved our Vita officer time and gave our other members and candidates more responsibilities and leadership opportunities.
Lastly, we created a recycling chair position because our high attendance at our weekly meetings created a lot of waste. This waste included around 2,500 aluminum cans and plastic bottles for the entire school year. We felt that we should support the University of Utah's Green Initiative by starting a recycling program to make our chapter more environmentally responsible. The recycling chairperson's duties included using university-provided receptacles for aluminum, plastic, and waste, and organizing a committee to bring these receptacles to our meetings.
Every member has an opportunity to develop their leadership skills through participating in committees, networking events, and service opportunities organized by our chapter. As officers, we sought to better prepare our incoming officers for their duties so that they can focus more on developing their leadership skills rather than reinventing the processes and procedures of our chapter's operations.
Outgoing officers have always had a transition meeting with incoming officers. In the past, there was little guidance on how to perform duties of one's office. However, this year we strove to improve these transitions by making officer transition sheets and using binder progression. The officer transition sheets were an explanation of duties along with tips and tricks to a successful year written by the previous officer. We used binders throughout the year to keep track of important information regarding our individual offices. At the end of the year, we passed these binders on to the new officers. Through this practice, we ensured that the incoming officers had all the necessary information for the critical execution of office responsibilities. These preparations created a more cohesive idea of what responsibilities new officers need to achieve.
By creating several opportunities for our members and better transitioning our officers, we are able to open many doors for our members and candidates, allowing them more options to develop themselves into successful leaders.
Giving back to the community is essential for our chapter's success. We will liken this to the foundation or ground of our chapter. Just as a building is constructed from the ground up, the community is the ground that sustains us and gives our chapter a foundation on which we can build. Our chapter has always had a strong VITA program, participated in an annual fundraiser for the Primary Children's Medical Center called the Festival of Trees, provided accounting tutoring services, volunteered at the Utah Food Bank, and participated in the Young Alumni 5K Run fundraiser. Community service has always been an essential element to our chapter's success, but we always attempt to make it more meaningful for our chapter members.
This past year, we added several service opportunities to our chapter in order to broaden our outreach to the community. As mentioned before, we formed a recycling committee and adopted a portion of a local highway. We also began a Pop Tab campaign and began getting involved in the LDS Humanitarian Aid Center. The recycling committee previously discussed contributed about 75 service hours and helped our chapter to recycle around 60 pounds of aluminum and 30 pounds of plastic. Our highway cleanups totaled 71 volunteer hours for the year. We also volunteered at the LDS Humanitarian Aid Center, where hygiene kits and other humanitarian items for those affected by disaster or need are prepared. The total volunteer hours for the year were 140 hours.
Our local Ronald McDonald House collects the pop tabs off of soda pop cans and recycles them in order to raise money. The mission of the Ronald McDonald House is to create, find, and support programs that directly improve the health and the well-being of children across the world. Since at each meeting we provided soda pop for our students, we collect these tabs, totaling around 2,000 for this past school year.
We feel that our chapter is deserving of the Gold Chapter status because of our ability to continuously reconstruct our chapter. We exceed the criteria for gold status because we have been a superior chapter for several years, including the current year. We hosted the Rocky Mountain Regional Chapter meeting this past year while also participating in the Best Practices competition and Chapter Operations presentation. We are also planning to participate in the 2011 National Meeting Chapter Operations presentation on developing effective leaders.
Our chapter is always under construction and is never satisfied with our current position. We are ever seeking to build on what we have and make our chapter stronger and more meaningful for our students. The bricks we have laid help our students build successful relationships, the doors we have opened help students develop their leadership skills, and the ground we have laid encourages a lifetime of giving back to the community.